Hey everyone, it's vmcampos, comic book fan. Welcome to the Final Order Cutoff Comics live stream where we look at comics that are coming brand new. We'll take a look together at the Previews World website to see the new comics coming soon, the first issues, the cool covers, the variants, etc. Whatever strikes our fancy. Now this week might be a quick episode. I've already got some comics picked out. Usually we just kind of browse together and hang out, but this time I've got them picked out already because I got another thing going on. So let's get to it, but let me just check if all my stuff is good. This music is boring. How about this next one over here? And we'll switch over to... here we go. So let's look at some comics and let's see what we've got going on. Okay, so these are the Final Order Cutoff comics. Now you need to pre-order these by tomorrow. If you don't pre-order these by tomorrow, you might not be able to get your own copy. So I'm letting you know. That's why you come to hang out on the stream, so that you can get these pre-ordered just in time. You never know, if you're looking for a cool comic and you don't pre-order it, it'll be gone forever, or you have to get it on eBay. So let's see, some that stood out to me. Okay, first of all, this Bill Sienkiewicz cover for Alice Never After number 3 of 5. This is from Boom. We all love Bill Sienkiewicz, and so this is his latest style. He's kind of evolved his styles throughout all of the decades, and so at this point, this is his current style. So here's the new take on Alice in Wonderland and the like, with a cool Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Anyone like Garfield? How about Garfield's 45th anniversary? This is from Boom Studios, Nickelodeon Garfield Full Course. This reprints the recent Garfield series, issues 1 through 8, and this variant cover has the sort of border around things like the old Marvel 25th anniversary borders. That was from 1986. So Garfield, if you like Garfield, here's a bunch of Garfield strips or comics. I didn't read the new Garfield comic when it came out, so here's a good way to get 8 issues for the price of 1, and it's the 45th anniversary. It's a cat's life. Any Garfield fans out there, or are you more of a Heathcliff fan? Tell me in the comments, tell me in the chat. All right, so any fans of third printings? Here we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 111, Darkest Hour. In the kickoff of this monumental 12-month event, Mistress Vile has won, or so it seems, with control of the grid and Dark Spectre's infection spreading through the universe. And I swear, when I first watched Power Rangers 30 years ago, it was way more of this juvenile thing. And now that Boom has been doing their comics for over 100 issues, it's way more modern, it's way more dark. The stories are way more grown up, so it's pretty fascinating. And here we get to a third print, which is pretty uncommon for some of these smaller publishers. So if you're looking for the start of a story, if you're looking for the collectability of a third printing, if you're looking for a pretty cool cover, this is by Simone Ragazzoni. Perfect for Halloween. So yep, there you go. Power Rangers 111 third print. Hey there, Stevie. How are you doing? I'm doing well myself. I said a little earlier, this is going to be possibly a shorter stream than I was expecting, just because I've got other stuff going on too. And then, hey, Ed, how are you doing? Making coffee and watching comic videos. Life is good. Exactly. That's what you want out of life. And so if people are interested, right here, Power Rangers, I know as a kid, it was a fun thing, and now it's a much more mature. It's a much more mature thing, and now they're on issue 111, third printing, with kind of a nice cover, minimalistic, but still pretty cool. So moving on, I said earlier also, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter stream this time around, just because I've also got other things going on. But thanks everyone for stopping by. How about some zombie Power Ranger with Mighty Morphin number 112? Let's get a close-up over here, right here. So I guess not too close up, but I guess a little closer. There we go. Look at that zombie Green Ranger. Oh no, what happened to him? And it's this just really realistic style for these fantastical characters that are just so... When I think of Power Rangers, they're this, to me, this juvenile thing that was fun 30 years ago, but now it's like Power Rangers. But apparently they've also make it much more modern, much more grown up or violent or whatever. And on the latest here, Darkest Hour storyline begins. So this one is, who's the artist on this one? Bjorn Barons. And it's part 2 of their brand new huge storyline of stuff. So, yep, there you go. That's why we do this stream here, so that I can reveal all of the things that you must pre-order FOC, which is tomorrow. So now you know that this is here, so you can get your own copy of it. Okay, moving on. So Alien, Marvel owns the Alien franchise at the moment, and they're really going for it. And so now we've got the Alien annual number 1. This is variant edition parental advisory. Now this is looking really weird to me, because they've got the big old Fox logo, and then it says in association with Marvel. So it's kind of funny, like how do they have that partnership? But anyway, this cover is also pretty cool, monochromatic, very scratchy style, very disturbing because of all of these xenomorphs and the alien queen in the darkness and the claws and the teeth and all that scary stuff. So the new annual is coming soon. Wait a minute, CA cover art, is that separate from regular artist? Yeah, check it out here with the World of Comics. You can have a writer, you can have an artist that does covers and interiors, or you can have cover artists that is only doing the covers. And you see that a lot in modern comics, that you've got a cover to catch your attention and the interior art might not be the same. And sometimes, okay, that's fine, it's a cool cover, but the interior art's a little different and I like it. Or that's a cool cover, I wish the interior art was also that art, and such. So here we have Danny Earls as the interior artist, and then Daniel Warren Johnson as the artist on this one. So this is an annual. Usually these are a little bit thicker than a regular comic, a few pages. And so if you're into the Alien franchise, Marvel's got a whole bunch of new Alien stories. And they're not like the G-rated stuff, apparently, because this says parental advisory. So, yep, do not meet a xenomorph in a dark alley. A quick question for everyone. I'm always wondering about my music. My background music isn't too loud. It's not distracting from my voice and such. Is that background music? I hear it differently than all of you, so tell me if the background music is too loud or annoying or whatever. Moving on here. Okay, did anyone say Alex Ross? If you want some cool Alex Ross cover art, the new Doctor Strange series is here. And if you don't like Doctor Strange, that's okay. You can have the art here where he's getting stabbed to death. And then also getting the reach around back there by someone. Who's that behind him? Anyway, Doctor Strange is not having a good time. And Alex Ross, as always, makes some epic art. So, like this, even this sort of like common character here, if Alex Ross did every single page, then this would be a #1 seller. We get the cover, and the cover looks cool, of course. There's some red tones. The composition's pretty cool. It's slightly off-center now that I look at it, right? The cover feels slightly off-center, like the the cape should be a little bit more flowing in a certain way so that it all looks kind of centered, because the main action is nice and centered, but that cape on the right side there should be flowing out more compared to the cape on the left. So it's slightly off center, but I'm not going to tell Alex Ross how to how to do his paintings. And so if you're looking for that cover, there's issue number 8. So you're falling behind if you jump in on issue number 8 without seeing the previous. But Alex Ross cover. Let me jump over here. I had another one. I had some other ones that I thought were kind of cool. Let's see here. Okay, so you know that if you watch my streams and videos for very long, when I talk about comics, what I always say, always get the cosplay covers. So Betty Page over on Dynamite, a new series on Dynamite of Betty Page. We have Mirka Andolfo as the writer, apparently co-writer, Mirka Andolfo, as well as Luca Blengino. And I really, really like Mirka Andolfo's work. I think she did a really cool job on Natural, on Mercy, on Sacred. And then after she did her independent stuff, then she got a whole bunch of work from Marvel, DC, everyone. So really cool. Props to her. So here she's doing writing with Dynamite, Betty Page. And so interiors are by Elisa Ferrari, and there's a bunch of variants, of course, but what do I always say? Always get the cosplay cover. So my pick this week for the latest issue of the Betty Page series is the cosplay cover of Betty Page number 4. Now, it's pretty cool how nowadays you can cosplay as Betty Page, and some cosplayers get very good, very close to the original Betty Page style. Like if you do the bangs and the hair just right and your face is close, you're Betty Page. So that's not Betty Page. It's just a cosplayer that is doing it very, very well. And just to see the other variants of that issue, where did they go? Right here. So we've got Joseph Michael Linsner. I got way too many tabs here. Where did that go? We got the Joseph Michael Linsner cover. So of course Linsner is always amazing in his styles. We got the classic Betty Page bangs. A little bit of an outfit of Dawn. It reminds me of his Dawn character. Background's a little too simple. It kind of feels like that heart background should kind of take up more of the background. She's kind of floating in space. Obviously, you're focused more on the character than the background, but I think the background's a little too simple. And if you kind of get a close-up of the art, I wonder if this is still like hand-painted or handmade art, although you can do a lot of, if you're good enough with computer graphics, you can do a lot of good simulation of real art, but that feels like it's Prismacolor pencils, maybe? Colored pencils. His art is always really nice. And we've got this artist that I've seen more and more, Lyrics. How do you say their name? Lyrics. This one's kind of okay. Dave Stevens. Exactly. Dave Stevens brought Betty Page back to the limelight, and we're all grateful for that because she was kind of just falling by the wayside. Now, unfortunately, I don't feel this is as good of a Betty Page style. It's more of the anime style, and it's cool and such, but doesn't really feel Betty Page compared to the Linsner one. And then what other ones? We've got... this one's by Rebecca Puebla, so I like this one a lot. I love that it's monochromatic. It looks like Betty Page. Let's get a close-up of that one. And it's a cool style. I think this might be a bit of an homage to a Federico Fellini movie. I think there was a frame from a Fellini movie with a famous actress in the Trevi Fountain that sort of just feels like that's from a movie scene. And this is also eye-catching in that it's black and white. You don't really see a lot of black and white art. It can be hard to do a good black and white piece, but I think this is an homage to a classic Fellini movie. We've got Mirka Andolfo over here doing a variant cover in her cartoony style. So I don't know who that other character is at the moment. Kind of looking a little bit like Betty and Veronica style. So obviously looking a little bit like Veronica Lodge a bit. And overall, I like Mirka's art a lot. This one feels like maybe a B level of her art, because sometimes I think Mirka's art is an A+, and there's just a little bit on this that it feels slightly not at the top of the game, probably because she's also co-writing the series. So overall, it's cool. Kind of a simple background. Characters look good. And again, this has got lots of variants. The one I'm picking, as you can see right there, is the cosplay cover. And maybe I would get the black bag one, but it's $10. If that loads up. The site was having trouble yesterday when I was browsing it to prepare for today. But maybe we're crashing the site because we're all looking at it, and oh, here it is. So this is a photo cover, a classic Betty Page photo from back in the day, but it's a little bit cheeky, so they can't really show the rest of the cover, and that's coming in a black bag variant. It is $10, but you might be able to get it cheaper. Actually, I don't think these are the variants that will ever drop in price compared to some of the. So what do y'all think about that? On this one, I don't think this is a variant that is going to drop in price because it's a polybag sealed risque cover compared to the 1 in 10 covers or the 1 in 25 that drop down in price quickly once they sell out. I don't think that these are the ones that really drop in price. I'd like to hear your thoughts. What do you think about that, Ed? As a former comics retailer, what do you think about that as black bag risque covers? I don't think these will lose their value. I don't think you're going to find these in the dollar bins just because of the nature of them compared to the other things that are definitely going to drop in price once everyone gets their copy. But let me just clean up all my tabs here. I've got way too many tabs. Close other tabs. And there's also, now, if you got $50, how about the limited edition Virgin variant cover of Linsner's art, and it's only $50. Now, on this one, yes, this is the one that's going to drop down to a much more reasonable price at some point, because $50 for this. Now, it's cool art, but $50 for this? Is it one of the metal variants? No, it's not a metal. But the black bag variant, I think that one's going to hold its value. And you know me, always get the cosplay covers. Moving on, we got some Darkwing Duck books. I'm checking out the story for the nostalgia. I'll probably stop checking them out soon. But the Darkwing Duck storyline. This is a Mirka Andolfo cover right here. Like I said, she's all over the place nowadays. She might be the next Peach Momoko. Although I still think I like Momoko's art better for its surrealism, but I like Mirka's art when it's done very well in her cartoony style. She's got this cool European style, and so here we've got the terror that flaps in the night, and it's kind of a mixture of the classic cartoon style with a little bit of her cartoony style. It's monochromatic, it's got lightning, it's got rain. I like this cover. Just wondering, why is it that one expensive compared to the rest we've seen so far, not counting the 1,000? It depends on so many factors why one more is expensive than the other. See how that one doesn't have any of the text. So comics that don't have any of the trade dress, any of the logo, any of the price, any of the number, those are known as Virgin variant covers. So number one, this is a Virgin variant. It doesn't have the extra stuff. Number two, it's a popular artist, Joseph Michael Linsner. Number three, another reason why a comic could be expensive in the beginning is that it's a ratio variant. So if it says it's a 1 in 10, That means that the comic shop has to buy 10 copies before they get one copy, and then they can sell that for more expensive. So I don't know why this one is $50, honestly. I think this is way too expensive for this variant. But if people want it, people want it. It might hold its value, but you don't see it increasing above the 10. After all, it's from Dynamite. Yep, Dynamite's not one of the big players out there, so the people that love Dynamite, but it might not really go beyond that. So anyway, that's why some comics are more expensive than others. It's also, honestly, it's also sometimes artificial pricing in that you create that FOMO that if you don't get this comic, then you're gonna miss out, blah blah blah, and then eventually they do drop in price. So it's an interesting industry that is full of from the full range of FOMO fakeness over to the range of transcendent works of art. So anyway, let me close some of these tabs and moving on. One more Darkwing cover here. This one looks pretty tough. This one's by Ken Haser. So it's just fun. I like some of these covers that are just fun, that take these silly characters. Like, you're not going to take Darkwing Duck seriously, but this is just a fun cover that obviously would work well on a real superhero. And I like that they have the just the sort of rendering in the shadows. You don't see that style anymore, really. You've got just a black tone and then feathered lines. You don't really see that like before very often. And the background is really really detailed too. Apparently on the signature here it says Haser after Finch. So I guess this is a David Finch variant cover. Homage. So many homage covers nowadays. And I found a little error right here. If you look closely here, let's zoom in here. Here's an error. When they were coloring it, they didn't color in between the letter E right here. So there you go. They're going to reprint that and they're going to fix it. And this is going to be the valuable one because it's got an error. So anyway, that's a fun Darkwing cover. And what else? Maleficent. All right, so if you like Maleficent as the dragon, as her dragon form, J. Scott Campbell. Now this is an FOC cover O, FOC Campbell original. So if you like J. Scott Campbell drawing sexy ladies, here he is drawing sexy dragons. And it's the FOC variant that this is sort of like a secret reveal variant cover that you would only know about if you were checking the FOCs, if you were hanging out on the stream with me, revealing the FOCs. And so, yeah, J. Scott Campbell. Now, extremely simple background, just plain white background. I would have also liked an actual background. And we all know J. Scott Campbell's work on a variety of books, and he's always got cool art. Here, it's kind of interesting to have just, dragon, Maleficent dragon. And I kind of also feel it's not on his top level of the game, because if you look at this also closely, look at this. He's got his line work, and then he drew the lines, and there's a little gap right here, so he didn't fill in the color there. And I noticed it over here too, this little stroke, drawing the lines and didn't fill in the color. And in a few places over here, I kind of see it that it's kind of a sketchy style, but he didn't fill in the color. So I kind of feel this is a quick cash grab kind of cover. Colorization's kind of not that amazing. It's a little too flat, although he has a gradation of color in the flames, but not in the main body. So I think this is just a quick... oh, wait a minute. If we look carefully there, what does that date say? Does that say 2012? Campbell 2012. What does that mean? He drew this in 2012 and it's being used 10 years later? Or is that a typo 2022? That says 2012, doesn't it? I'd like to know the history behind this piece, because if it is from 2012, Was it never used in any other? Are we going to get another controversy where someone's art was used in Europe but not in the US, and then they said it was a new cover, blah blah blah, that whole thing that happened? So anyway, there's a variant cover for the Maleficent series. Disney's doing all of these villain books, which is weird because Disney owns Marvel, but then they're licensing out some of these stories over to Dynamite. So how does that even work? What kind of deal does Dynamite have with Disney, and why isn't Disney publishing this on Marvel if they own Marvel? I guess it's cheaper for them? I don't know. But this cash grab of Maleficent issue number 5. They're doing their whole villain series also with Scar and such. So, did anyone say Elvira? The hostess with the mostess? And yes, there's also a cosplay cover, so I thought I had ordered this one, but the site was having trouble yesterday. Okay, it worked today. Okay, good. So, Elvira made a deal with the devil, and she still looks as devilish as ever. And her stories are always fun. David Avallone, he's been the writer of all her recent stories, and they're fun, they're cute, they're risque a bit, they're silly. And on this one, we have Cuber Ball as the artist. What was the artist on the other one that was really good? J Bone, what was his name? David Avallone and Dave Bone. It was someone else, but we got another artist here on this storyline. Let's see, do we have... Who else? We've got Acosta Royal Ball. Got the Virgin variant, which is way too expensive. And it's just some fun. It could be 2022, but the other 2 is hidden. It's probably 2012. For some reason, it's old art, I guess. So we've got the new Vampirella, Dracula's Rage, and as I said, always get the cosplay covers. So when you have the cosplayer really giving it their all to accurately portray a comic book character, I'm all for that, right? You have to get the hair just right, you have to get the makeup just right, you have to get the costume, what little there is of it, just right. You know, you have to get it all just right to really pull it off. And so this cosplayer did it just right. So that's my recommendation on that one. Or there are other covers like this. Let's see here. Lucio Perillo oftentimes does some really good covers. This one's Jay Anacleto. He's also kind of does a lot of these covers for Dynamite. Here's the Anacleto cover. So interesting. It's kind of not flattering when you have just kind of a straight on kind of an artwork, I think. I think it's always much more artistically pleasing to have a little bit of an angle. So kind of a face on of Vampirella here. I don't know if I love that. And then foreshortening the hands is always tricky. So, okay. Props to trying it. I don't think it's as good art as it could be, although I think the expression's pretty good. And then the guy here, I think that's Dracula. So it's kind of an okay cover. Lazy publishers are finding old art of dead creators and using them. Yeah, over on Marvel, they're mining the corpse of George Perez. They're doing a whole bunch of Perez variants there. So that's sad. But if it maybe if we see, how about this? How about someone that doesn't have the experience with the classic artists? If they see the classic art for the first time, maybe they will be inspired in their own art, or better yet, to go buy the original books. So on the one hand, yeah, cash grab. On the other hand, maybe it's just exposing more people to the classic art. And so here we have Lucio Perillo. It looks like Perillo is Dynamite's #1 artist. He does the art of most of their covers, especially the Sexy Lady books. And so here is his art on that one. It's this realistic style with lots of detail and even depicting a little bit of the fuzziness of her collar. That's kind of cool. Good detail on that. Outfit doesn't look as shiny as it could be. And the scary background of some weird creature and the like. So those covers always catch my attention. The Perillo covers. Now this one's interesting. The FOC Perillo Ultraviolet variant. I have no idea what this is. Does this glow under black light? Ultraviolet? I don't know what this is. It is a... I think I hear a lot of dogs barking over there. It is an FOC cover. I'm interested in this, and it's a regular price. It's not some variant high price. So I'm gonna grab a copy of this just to kind of see it in my own hands. Like, what is this? It's variant cover P. It's FOC. It's an ultraviolet. It's got some weird colors. So I'd like to see this. I'll pick this up and report back on what is this cover? What is this style of cover? Because if it's just weird colors, okay, then that's not cool. But if it's what does the V stand for? It stands for Very Vampirella Bikini Bottom. That's what it stands for, of course. So yeah, I'm gonna check out this cover and then see what it's all about once I eventually get it, because that sounds interesting. An ultraviolet variant, but it'll probably be a disappointment, but we'll see anyway. There's a brand new horror series coming out. Well, first of all, there's the reprint of 30 Days of Night. Okay, whatever. But there's a new horror series. Brand new. 3 variants on that. This has got stories by H.P. Lovecraft, so I'm glad that H.P. Lovecraft came back from the dead to write a brand new story. And a variety of other artists. So a one-shot prestige format, 64-page, 3 complete stories, not horrifically expensive, $12.99. You know, that's the regular cost of a trade paperback. Step into the forbidden realms of Alien Books' horror, Pulp stories. Embark on a nightmarish journey through the twisted minds of these authors as 64 pages of spine-tingling terror unravel. So we have H.P. Lovecraft, we have Salvador Sands, we have Damian Connolly, etc. It's an anthology with a variety of artists. This is the Damian Connolly variant. It's got that style of just some pulp, not underground, but just kind of a garish type of horror book that you would hide under the bed. So Alien Books, horror pulp stories, a collection of 3 complete nightmare tales. It's Coming, A Journey into the Mind of Fear by Damian Connolly. The Breeders, Chupacabras Unleashed by Mats and Leo Lujan, and featuring The Call of Cthulhu, the original tale of unspeakable dread by H.P. Lovecraft, adapted by Salvador Sands. Horrors from beyond imagining. So it's so over the top. It's so classic in the verbiage, and this cover with tentacles and pentagrams and Billy Corgan and vampire ladies and everything. So there's that one. There's the variant cover over here with a depiction of Cthulhu, one of the old ones. Let's get a close-up of that one. So very, very, very wiggly Cthulhu style. The little sharks down here. This is Cthulhu underwater, I guess. If you've got sharks here, this means this is underwater, I guess. And it's pretty cool style. It's vaguely like a woodcut style with all of those lines. You often see that in woodcuts where you make texture by all those parallel lines. So there's that variant, and then one more. This one is by Leo Lujan, another depiction of Cthulhu. So we've got the house, intrepid, So if you always wondered about the classic Cthulhu character, this prints the original Cthulhu story as a comic book as well as two others. And so you go off into the scary house and then you summon Cthulhu. This is a little bit more feathery, I guess, or spiky, I guess, and just a depiction of the cosmic horror coming to get you. So you've got the sort of little bit more comic book style. You've got the woodcut style, and you've got the old magazine style. So I'm going to check this out. All the covers are pretty cool. I kind of feel the cover A is good, so I'll grab a copy of that. And then we'll see what else is. Like I said, today I can't do the usual long stream. We're coming up to 40 minutes. So maybe we'll look at one more thing, then I gotta go. Usually we can do an hour or whatever, 2 hours, whatever. But today I got other things, unfortunately, so we'll just browse a little bit more. How about Conan, the new Conan series over at Titan? If people like the subsequent printings, there's a second print of issue number 2. So this is the De La Torre art on the cover. This guy is not having a good time. When you tangle with Conan, you might not make it out in one piece. So second print variant cover for issue number 2, but the new books, the new number 3s are coming. So let's look at some of these variants for number 3. Regular cover is by Doug Brathwaite, and so we got a depiction here of Conan in a realistic style, sort of subdued, ready to strike, or he just finished taking care of a guy, and got his axe on one hand and then his sword on the other. We've got this one, we're right in the middle of the action. This one's kind of eye-catching in terms of you've got these purple tones, everything's in purples, and then Conan is in the middle in his more realistic flesh tones with this freaking army of the undead. Look at that. And he's just striking through them all, no problem. Zombies versus Conan. I know who I'm betting on. Buy it now or buy I'll split you half. Yes, I'm just checking which cover to get because we've got a bunch of that. I'm going to get the black and white one. I'll show you that one in a moment. So then we've got the we got this one by Max von Fafner. This one's interesting. It's monochromatic. It's a cool pose. Got the lightning going on. Flash of his steel, and just if you're looking at Conan that way, you're dead because you're on the ground. So you got a worm's eye view. So overall, kind of a cool cover too. You know, on the one hand, it's very artistic, pretty cool, but you don't really get a great sense of Conan himself. And if you want a Conan book, you want Conan. So maybe that's kind of a cool cover. I got this one that is in the vintage style. So this one's by De La Torre, and he's really channeling who was doing Conan back in the 70s on Marvel? It was Barry Windsor Smith, right? And someone else. Who was it? Remind me, who else was on Conan back in the early 80s? Anyway, this has got the style of Conan over at Marvel, even with the little corner box, the logo, like the classic Conan Marvel books, the simpler style of art, which is cool. So this is a modern take on a classic style of covers. Yeah, Buscema. Is it Buscema? Buscema? Sal Buscema? There was Sal Buscema and John Buscema and Sal Buscema, right? They were brothers, right? And so this is the one I'm going to get. I'm going to get the black and white ink virgin cover, and it's cover A, but black and white and virgin, and it's not some outlandish price. It's just the regular price. So just for the difference of it, let's get a close-up of this. This is the sort of sketchy... Where is it? Sketchy... handmade... So you can see the add whiteout here, add pen and ink here, add washes here. So this is the one that stands out to me. I'm gonna get this one. I just added it to my pull list. So I like the sketchiness of it, the sort of process of before it gets to the final version, black and white monochromatic, pretty epic skies right there. Only they know how to say their own name exactly. I've heard it as Bushima, Busema. I think I always say it Bushima. So, yeah, that's what I'm getting. So, just one more book, then I gotta go for the day. One more. When I was compiling my list yesterday, there were some things that stood out. Okay, we'll end right here. I'm not going to get this book, but this is fun. This definitely hit all of my nostalgia points. So, Hellicious, #1. And this is the Nintendo variant cover. This is depicting the classic Castlevania Part 1. And just for the nostalgia, this is totally tugging on my heartstrings, because Castlevania Part 1 was one of my first video games on the Nintendo. I loved that game. It was so difficult, I never passed it. But just the music of it, the style of it, and soon to be an animated series on TBS featuring Anthony Kiedis. Huh, interesting. Never heard of that. Created by AC Medina, Mina Elwes, Kit Wallace. So this cover is just so much fun. It's this Nintendo homage, and it's just fun. The story itself, here's the regular cover. The story Cherry, the devil's prankster, granddaughter, and the cutest Grim Reaper in hell. She loves everything about her home. Its burning landscapes, its horrific inhabitants, and especially her demonic family. But she's lonely. She might look like a little girl, but she's much too powerful for the imps and the damned inhabitants of the underworld. So, we got a little bit of interior art. It's kind of cool. It reminds me of Scotty Young style. And a little bit of Sam Keith style as well. And it's this little bit of Jonan Vasquez style as well. Invader Zim style. So it's kind of a little bit of a pastiche of a lot of things. That definitely feels Scotty Young right there. Very cartoony, violent and such. So I'm going to pick this up. It's issue #1. So might as well get on a starting point. So it's the Grim Reaper is a cute little girl. And we've got adventures in hell and such. So it's pretty fun. So I'm going to get that one, issue #1, but which cover? I'll probably just get cover A, even though I was just saying that I love this cover C, that it looks like Castlevania. Since the interiors are really nothing like that, I'll just get the regular cover. The regular cover by Kit Wallace, who does the interior art. Yeah, it looks a lot like Scotty Young style. So the good and the bad about that is, you know, make your own style or make your own version of the style. So we'll get that one. I'm gonna check that one out. So again, a little bit shorter stream than usual. Usually I go for an hour or two just talking about comics. Still plenty out there that I missed, but I gotta go today a little bit earlier than usual. So we'll wrap up today. Thanks everyone for coming to hang out to the stream. If you were here live, I really appreciate it. Talking comics on a Sunday morning is amazing. Tell your friends and family, come to the stream every Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're watching this video after the fact, check the description for the various chapter stops to check the various books. And don't forget to subscribe and to like and ring the bell and do all that good stuff. And subscribe for my comic book podcast and unboxings and all that cool stuff. So thanks everyone for coming to stop by. Yeah, you got to get back to that cleaning and pressing, get those comic books better than ever. Thanks everyone. I'll see you next time.